that they say that Islam is oppressive to women. They say that Islam is backwards and that it's medieval, and it basically forces women into the home. Can you just tell me your experience as a Muslim, as a woman entering into Islam? Is Islam oppressive to women?
Definitely not. I was actually, when I started to learn myself about women in Islam, I was amazed, because it's the totally opposite.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Robert Carter back here again. Now, I'm here in Sweden reporting on a number of different stories, but during my travels, I always like to meet and explore local Muslim communities wherever I go. And alhamdulillah, I've come across some really fantastic and amazing individuals who have unique and interesting stories. In particular, I enjoy meeting other converts to Islam. Given the fact that I converted to Islam myself, it's always fascinating to hear and meet people who have embraced the beautiful religion, especially in parts of the world where the Muslim community remains fairly small. Sweden would be a prime example of that. Now, I'm going to introduce you to a sister today who I have met for the very first time. I'm pleasantly happy to learn that she also has embraced Islam and has a very unique and amazing story. So, assalamu alaikum, sister. Let me just first of all ask you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, walaikum salam. My name is Caroline Kassem. I'm from Sweden, and but I have also lived abroad for many years in Dubai and Bahrain, and
let me just start from the very beginning. So you're Swedish born and bred, is that right?
Yes.
So Swedish born and bred. I myself have some Scandinavian ancestry, so I always like to throw that out there. I have some kind of Viking heritage, I don't know. But I was born and bred in England, and I have not met to this day someone who has converted to Islam from Sweden or anywhere in Scandinavia. So let me just put that first. It's a pleasure to meet you. Now, just tell me, growing up you had what kind of upbringing? It was a traditional Swedish upbringing, would you say?
Yes, I would say that it's very typical Swedish family. You grow up, I'm from the countryside, and if we think about religion, you know, majority of Swedish people are not religious. You don't go to church, or even the older generation. My grandmother or grandfather, no one was going to the church. The church you go to when you have when you're finishing school or have your exams and all of this stuff. Yes.
So you had a traditional upbringing, not very religious. How on earth did you come to find about Islam? Because there are not that many Muslims here in Sweden, to be honest.
Yeah. No, it all started with that. Since I was small, I always wanted to travel the world. I always felt that Sweden is very small. I need to see the world. So it started with that. I went to Barcelona. It was the summer of 2008, and it was just a purely an enjoyment trip. I went there, but when I was there, I was working a little bit, and when I was about to quit that job, I didn't want to go back to Sweden again. So I was looking for other jobs, and then I got this opportunity to go to Bahrain and work there for the airline as a cabin crew. So yes, I got this job and went there, and that was the start on everything. And I lived there for 1.5 years, and then I moved to Dubai, and I was living there for many years in Dubai. And in the beginning, I was just living the life there, but then I started to question many things. I got very tired of all of this, all this artificial life, this whole life. I felt that it must be a deeper meaning to everything. I was thinking very much about that some people are so blessed and some are not. It cannot be like this. I couldn't accept that it was like that. It must be something deeper behind all of this. So I started to get into different things, but I believe that the first spiritual thing that I went into was that I got very interested in I started a little bit with this being vegetarian, vegan, and this led me into do this yoga, and naturally it became that I read about the Buddhism.
Okay.
So I started reading about that,
So you're looking for something. There's some kind of gap in your personality. You're trying to fill it, and you're embracing a lot of spiritual movements, Buddhism as well. Continue, please.
Yes, so I was not looking for a religion. I was just looking for something. You know, I was searching for something, and so I was looking into Buddhism. But I read and I felt that I couldn't believe this, because I always had this thought also that if there is a true way in life, it can only be one way. It cannot be many different. So it needs to be one book out there that is, the one book. It cannot be, because many religions have this. It's so much different paths. So when I was checking in Buddhism, I could just see that it was not. I was just looking out, like, where's the book? Where's the original? I couldn't find it. It was very confusing. So I left that. So then I went into and started to learn about Christianity, because when I wanted to read a little bit about religion, I always said that I wanted to read about Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam. Islam was last. Yes. But then, so I was reading about Christianity, and because I wanted to see where it all started. So I was very much into this Orthodox Christianity. So I was learning about this, and while I was doing this and was reading the Bible, I actually just by coincidence, I got in to see some videos on YouTube about Islam. And it was actually, what really shook me was when I saw a video from Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, this scholar from the States, and he was holding a very passionate speech, and I was it was very powerful, and and I got very interested, because I was living in Dubai at this moment, and I just hadn't seen any Muslim like this, because he was a Western white man. So I was like, he's a Muslim? So it got me interested and curious about more to learn. And then I started to see more people that had converted and everything like this. And I started to see, this Islam is for everyone, Yeah, so it started like this, and it just came to a point when I felt that this is the right way. It was just feeling, good in the heart.
What was it that Hamza Yusuf was saying that appealed to you? What really dragged you in? Was there a specific thing, a specific message?
Yeah, so this was very interesting. So that video, he was talking to Muslims. It was a very passionate speech, and he was talking to Muslims that they should wake up and start practicing their religion. So this made me understand that maybe the things that I've seen might not be Islam. Yes, so he was telling people to really wake up and start practicing and take their religion seriously. Yeah, it was a very powerful and nice speech. It really felt it was meant for me to see that.
Great. So you're in a stage now where you're learning about Islam, you like what you're hearing, you like what you're seeing. Tell me about your Shahada. When was the moment you actually decided to embrace Islam? How did it come about? Where did it take place?
I mean, I knew that I was a Muslim before I did the Shahada, because when I was, like I said, when I did my research about Islam, it just came to a point when I just felt this is the way, this is the truth, and it was an amazing feeling, and But then I went and I went to an Islamic center there in Dubai there and did my Shahada, and But like I said, the moment for me was even before that, so it was not it was it's amazing actually.
And how did you feel after you embraced Islam? Did you feel different afterwards?
Yes, definitely, because before when I was searching, I had this. It was very chaotic inside of me. I was thinking, it was a mess in my head for some reason. I was thinking very much about things and all of this. Everything that is happening in the world, and But when I understood that Islam was the right way, it was I just felt became calm, and all of this disappeared. All this that I was stressing about and was feeling sad about, it was just like it just went away. It was like you click a button like this. Yeah, it's subhanallah. It was amazing.
That is, it brings a lot of memories back of my Shahada. I converted to Islam when I was very young. And again, I was one of these guys who came from a broken home. I had a lot of questions. I was searching for something. I was on a slippery slope at some points. But it was when I found Islam that it kind of felt like it put me on the right path. And ever since then, I've never looked back. And I've been very happy ever since, internally, spiritually, physically. I'm just a happy guy, alhamdulillah. Now, what I want to ask you about is Sweden specifically. What's the Muslim community like here in Sweden?
The Muslim community? You mean in what way you mean? Not that.
Yeah, just tell me, I know it's a small community. Is it growing? Is it mostly made up of people from a particular Muslim country? I know there's some immigration here to Sweden. That's probably where Islam came from mostly. Just tell me, what's the makeup of the Muslims here? Is there a lot of mosques, that type of thing?
Yes. Yes, there is a lot of mosques here, but and I believe that much Muslims here. Yeah, it's immigration. It's coming from. I would say that it's from Turkey. We have a lot, and it can be from. You have Iraq. Is also a lot, and I need to say that I also because I haven't got so deep into the Muslim community here yet since I came here, so I'm not really that very well into it yet, you know.
Sure. What I like about you though is that now that you're back in Sweden, now that you're back in your home, you are engaging. We're going to talk about your political activities as well just shortly. But before we do that, just tell us about, because people watching for the first time, they might not understand what it's like in Sweden. They might not realize the political climate. It's turning more right-wing here, and it's becoming more intolerant, actually. And I think Muslims are the biggest target of that intolerance, if you agree. So just tell me, what's the political situation like in regards to how it's looking at Muslims now?
Yeah, I mean, I need to say that also that because I came back to Sweden in 2018, and when I started to get into everything here, I was actually quite shocked how it is here, how people are so segregated. It's because I lived in Dubai and it's not like this at all, you know. So, but yeah, it's extremely problematic now that we have this right wing. It's growing very much, this more extreme side, and even the left wing is becoming more tougher. Also, they're becoming more. They're adopting the same politics from the right wing.
And so I assume that's because public opinion is turning very anti-Muslim. So obviously that forces the left to become more anti-Muslim as well. You told me earlier that Islamic schools are being shut down. There's also campaigns to target the hijab, to target Islamic practices here. I think a lot of political rhetoric is hostile to immigration. It's hostile to the spread of Islam in Sweden, that type of thing. So a toxic atmosphere, I think is fair to say, is growing in Sweden. Now, you're engaging in politics now. Your political party is campaigning. It's a party for minorities. Just tell me about your political activism now and the party specifically.
So I'm active in a political party that is called Nyans, and it's a party that is that works for minorities, and especially we are fighting racism and Islamophobia, especially because Islamophobic crimes is the highest. That's the highest racism here now. So, and actually I was not really interested to be in politics, to be honest, you know. I can find it interesting to follow, but not being involved. But for some reason, I feel like I need to do it because the climate has become so toxic here, and I feel a little bit like a responsibility because I'm Swedish, and also a woman, because it's very much about that also, that they have their views about women and Islam. So yeah, I feel like I need to do this. It's not a choice.
I know from a lot of criticism that Islam gets in England, for example, and elsewhere, that they say that Islam is oppressive to women. They say that Islam is backwards and that it's medieval, and it basically forces women into the home, takes them away from society, that type of thing. Can you just tell me your experience as a woman entering into Islam? Is Islam oppressive to women?
Definitely not. I was actually, when I started to learn myself about women in Islam, I was amazed because it's the totally opposite. and you're reading about the history of Muslim women, how many strong personalities, and also in the Quran, all the women in the Quran, strong women, and respected women. So no, it's just I used to say to people about Islam, it's actually totally opposite what you think. So no, I feel so much more. Actually, my personality has changed since I became Muslim. I've become so much strong, and it helped me, get more confident. I was not like this before. So no. So Islam does not oppress women. It's the total opposite. It's.
I think a lot of people against Islam in Sweden would be fearful that Muslims are coming to change Swedish culture. Islam will drag Sweden back to a dark past or something like that. I don't know what the conspiracies are, but what would your message be to those Swedes out there who have a negative view of Islam?
They need to start learning themselves. To be honest, I really don't know where they're getting their information from. Because it's very easy to go and read and learn yourself. And because I believe that maybe people are reading, they're following the wrong people about this. So they just need to go and read authentic about the history of Muslims, and I think they take information from the wrong people, and but they need to learn more, definitely, and maybe need to travel more also and see the world, and not because not just see what media is telling us about everything. 100%. Have their own.
I want to highlight to everyone as well that the sister is active on TikTok. She's been speaking about her experience entering into Islam, being a Muslim on TikTok. It's gone viral in her native language, and I will leave a link in the description section below so that you can find her on TikTok and elsewhere on social media and support this sister to help her to raise further awareness about Islam to the masses and to try and change those negative stereotypes against Islam in countries like Sweden, where Islamophobia unfortunately is on the rise. Sister, thank you very much for sharing with me your experience, and thank you everyone at home for watching as well. Please like, share and subscribe. It helps the channel immensely, and until next time, Assalamu alaikum.